called The Crossover, where our football guys ask questions to our basketball guys and vice versa. You can see we are loaded up today. I said that if it went well, I will acknowledge the idea, and that if it went badly, we will blame Fink, our coordinating producer, John Fink. There he is. That's a better shot. Everyone loves the thumbs up. Do we feel it went well? I mean, it was just me or was it Fink? Right? We feel good about it?
It was good.
Okay.
Credit to you, Greeny.
That was 100% my idea. That's just the kind of man I am. And we got Big Perk in this time, too. Okay, RC is first up. RC has a question for our basketball group. RC, go.
Hey, fellas, I know we were calling Ant Edwards the next one, and he was the OG Slayer in the playoffs, but have we coronated him too soon as the possible face of the NBA?
Ooh, I really like that question. Big Perk, I'll let you go first. Do you think we put the crown on Anthony Edwards too quickly?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think we're searching for the next face. I think SGA just have a word to say about it. But we can't look at this series and say that Anthony Edwards still can't be the possible face of the NBA. This Oklahoma City Thunder team just sent the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic home, and he struggled in the 7-game series. What the hell you think Anthony Edwards was going to do?
Wait, let me ask the Twins here. Is Anthony Edwards going to be, and we talked about breakout stars. He's obviously long since broken out. He's 23 years old. Like, is he going to be a guy that we look at in the way that, someday that we look at the greatest players in the league?
No question. He's 23 years old. He's going through growing pains, right? His resume already speaks volumes. Like Perk just said, SGA sent home Nikola Jokic. Let's go back to last year. And Edwards sent him home as well, right? Like, he's a really good player. He's going through some growing pains. I don't think we crowned him too soon because I really think he's going to be the face of the NBA.
Give me a sense. You just were dealing with him, just a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs. What's it like?
It's crazy, but definitely you took the words out of my mouth. I know we twins. But yeah, definitely. I mean, he's going down the line of knocking players off. Like you said, he's going through growing pains. It's not going to be easy. He's 23. He's still growing, but I definitely think he's going to be the face.
Windman, finish it up.
We're headed for a period here where Ant is going to have to try to climb over the Thunder Mountain. That's going to be one of the big storylines going forward. And we've seen a lot of great players have to do that over the decades.
Yeah, look, this is a team that's defense might be the kind of thing we talk about forever. All right, next football guy asking a basketball question is Schefter. Go ahead, Schefter.
All right, guys, here's my question. Josh Hart has been such an integral part of the Knicks. Last game he gets benched, doesn't start, and yet still comes on and plays a vital role with a huge rebound late in the game. What is a player's mindset when he's such an integral part of the team and winds up being benched in a game that is so important to that franchise and still has to come on and can contribute?
Josh Hart is the top of the top when you talk about utility role players. So it really doesn't matter if he comes off the bench or he starts. But like you said, that big rebound at the end of the game was key. At the end of the day, Schefter, it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. I got to agree from guys like us that have been role players my entire career, and I hung my hat on that. It didn't matter if I started, if I finished. It's about winning. In these big moments, you knew we were going to show up. You know Josh Hart's going to make his imprint on the game. And I don't think he was benched. I think he had some parts in being able to come off that bench.
It's an interesting storyline that he actually, whether they were going to do it or not, otherwise, he actually suggested it to Tibbs. He went to Tibbs and said, listen, you need to do this. And that said, I'm not 100% sure it was the right play. Do you believe, Big Perk, that tonight the Knicks should stay with the lineup that started the game the other night with Mitchell Robinson on the floor and Josh Hart on the bench?
Absolutely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I also believe that Tom Thibodeau should continue to use his bench. And can I say something real quick to all the crazy people out there in the world? Tom Thibodeau is not going to bench Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is the New York Knicks. If Tom Thibodeau decides to bench Jalen Brunson, he will be on the first thing smoking up out of there. Stop it. Stop
Who's
it.
saying to bench him?
But to the
Who's
rest
saying
of
to
the
bench him?
world.
Yeah, he would have to be smart.
Numbers. They're looking at the numbers, and the numbers say negative or whatever, but hey, man, you're looking too far.
Hey, RC, some of them other ones on other networks that I saw on social media. I'll just stop.
Windman, obviously, look, Jalen Brunson's second-team All-NBA, and he is the reason the Knicks are where they are. Full stop. That said, we did talk earlier this morning about staggering the minutes so that he and Towns aren't on the floor as much together. There may be something, Windman, legitimate in that conversation.
Yeah, no serious person would ever suggest benching Jalen Brunson, but I do think against this Pacers team, there is some case to be made for opening up the stagger a little bit. But let's be honest. Let's see what Aaron Nesmith looks like out there. It might be a smart move to play Jalen Brunson 47 minutes if Aaron Nesmith isn't effective.
That's a huge storyline for those who don't know. He's got the ankle. He's going to be a game-time decision. We'll see, Nesmith, how healthy he is. Okay, let's do the crossover here. Markieff, you get your NFL question. To RC it goes. Go.
Watch out. I'm Markieff.
Yes, good point. I'm sorry, it's the first time I've done that.
I don't want to hear nothing about nobody else, RC, but my Cowboys. I'm not trying to hear about the Eagles. What are your expectations of my Cowboys this year, and do we make the playoffs?
I think the Cowboys are a playoff contender for sure. I think the thing is this, right? Offensively, they could score with anybody. On the defensive side of the ball, have you fixed the run issues? Have you gotten the physicality that you need? DeMarcus Lawrence is gone, and to me, he was the guy that set that tone. Who's going to be that tone setter? The same way you and your brother were always the tone setter on the court, they got to find that guy defensively. Michael Parsons is the star, but who's going to be the dude that bends face mask? On the defensive side of the ball, I believe this team is going to be able to score with anybody in the NFC.
Solomon Thomas, 4 years, $80 million. Dexter Fowler had 13 sacks last year for Redskins. That's how we're going to change it.
He likes it. Chef,
that's how we're going to change it.
The idea that the Cowboys could be slept on is ridiculous considering the attention they get. But the reality is they won 7 games last year, and Dak missed so much of the season. There's every reason to believe with the additions that they've made, Cowboys look like a playoff team this year.
Well, they still have a lot of questions, right? The running game. Devontae Williams, he going to be able to step in and get it done. They added Miles Sanders, the former Philadelphia Eagle. So they have a whole new backfield to go along with a whole new coaching staff. A lot of questions, but the talent is there, and I think they will compete for it.
I'll repeat for those just joining us. Marcus and Markieff are twin brothers. They grew up obviously together. One of them is an Eagles fan and the other one is a Cowboys fan. It's a travesty. Okay, Marcus, what is your question for Schefter?
Hey, one of them is a winning team. One is shaky every year thinking they're going to make the playoffs or the championship and never really do.
I got you.
I'm going to get off of my Super Bowl Eagles. Listen, hey, RC, I do have a real question. Aaron Rodgers, big fan, been a big fan. I love Aaron Rodgers' career. I love Mike Tomlin and what he's done with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to the Steelers? And if he does, do you think it works?
I do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to go play for the Steelers. I can't see Omar Khan, Art Rooney, and Mike Tomlin waiting this long or not making any moves to address the quarterback position if they haven't had some sort of indication that he will be there. And this is what I think. I watched him play down the stretch. Aaron Rodgers can still throw the football. Does Arthur Smith have enough around him to make this team a championship contender? Because if they're just 9-8, if they're just 10-7, and they're home in the first round of the playoffs again, it doesn't matter that Aaron Rodgers is there because they're in the same position year after year, still looking for a franchise quarterback.
Schefter, give Marcus the date that we have our eye on in June.
Steelers have a mandatory minicamp June 10th to June 12th. We are May 27th. So I would think that in the next 10 days, the chances are we'll hear something from Aaron Rodgers because it's hard to imagine that he's going to sign with the Steelers this year and then skip the mandatory minicamp where he'd have a chance to work with his new teammates, his new coaches, new outfits. I think we hear something from Aaron Rodgers here in the next couple of weeks.
Or that he doesn't sign by then, right? I mean, you're going to miss absolutely everything in the offseason. All right, the Windman, one more. Windman's got a football question. Go.
Schefter, how do they give Myles Garrett in Cleveland the biggest contract in the history of defense and then have a 40-year-old or a middle-round rookie quarterback? Make it make sense.
Well, they were going to do whatever it took to appease Myles Garrett and to make sure that he stayed there in Cleveland. Amazing how much his tone changed almost overnight from going from a guy who wanted nothing to do with the Browns to becoming the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. And so they're going through their process. Let's keep in mind, the Browns are positioned next year to have 2 first-round picks in a draft that's going to be rich at quarterback. They may have hit this year on Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. We don't know yet. But if they didn't, then they'll be set up next year to get another quarterback. So they're well positioned here for the next couple of years. When you have a player like Myles Garrett, who means so much to that team and that city, Windy, it's not ideal, but you got to go pay the guy and make sure he's not going anywhere. If he gets out the door, it sends a bad message to everybody about being here.
I will also say Shedeur Sanders is a first-round pick, masquerading as a fifth-round pick. I don't care what anybody says. Big perk, put a ribbon on all of it.
Well, that was my question right there. I was going to ask Schefter and RC, who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Does Shedeur Sanders have a legit shot at being the starting quarterback?
The starting quarterback in the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell. He is the starting quarterback in the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland Browns.
Hey,
my bad. Cleveland Browns.
Shedeur is the starter. Hey, you do a lot of basketball, Perk. That's all right. First of all, with the money Myles Garrett got, that can make Cleveland look like Maui. Believe that, and you'll stay for no matter what the offense looks like. I believe Shedeur Sanders becomes the starting quarterback of this team. He has the leadership, he has the understanding, has the anticipation, he has the accuracy. He knows what it takes to lead a locker room, and I think they have their guy for the future.
I'll go Joe Flacco to open the season, and then the best young quarterback then takes over at some point.